Welcome back, everybody. We like to keep everybody all up to date in their homes, and to help us with that, we have Scott Dean joining us from HGTV Home Design Studio by Bassett. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Today, it's all about comfy sectionals.
I know. I felt like taking a nap, so I thought maybe we should actually. You know, I broke my foot, so I'm thinking about how to lay down, how to get comfortable, and so.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's healing.
It's healing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I thought maybe we'd talk about sectionals today and why they're so interesting for homes, because they're so great for big spaces. They're informal. They're great for TV rooms. They're great for theaters, but you have to make a plan because they do take up a lot of space.
As I say, the square footage you need for a sectional is a little different than a normal couch.
Right, and you don't just tweak them around because they are very set. And if you get one that's asymmetrical, then it even becomes more difficult, because you might not be able to flip it to the other side of the room because you have it asymmetrical, meaning it's longer on one side or you have a chaise on one side. So we have to make sure we make a plan, which, you know, Michelle,
yes, you're all about the plan. All about the plan. Now, someday I'm going to get there too.
And we're going to come to your house and make a plan.
That's right.
So first of all, we want to talk about configurations of sectionals, because that's what the first question I'm going to ask you when you come into the studio is, what do you think these configurations would be? And so I brought these, I have some ideas about different configurations that are very typical. The first one being a symmetrical one where you have a love seat in each direction. Very easy to flip it around your home, maybe in your room. The second one, see, it's longer on the right than on the left. You have a sofa on the right and a love seat on the left.
Oh, okay.
So that one's a little bit more tricky to move into your home, but if we make a plan, we'll know that it's set right the first time.
Okay.
And the last one is a U-shaped, which has a chaise or a chaise on one side and then love seat on both sides. So you see, you have to figure out what the configuration is first. The second question I'm going to ask you is what the arm style you want is, and you see on the bottom there the different arm styles you might pick. The reason that these 6 arm styles are important to pick is because they're different widths. Okay. So you can't make a plan without knowing how much you're going to add to your plan with the width of the arm.
Okay.
So a small track arm might be 3 inches, a large track arm might be 5 or 6 inches. So that changes the actual dimension of the sectional itself.
Of course it would, yeah.
So it's kind of odd. Some people might think that you go from configuration to arm style and then into the pieces you want, but that's actually how we plan it, so we know what the size is.
Because you know how big the pieces are going to be when you're done.
Exactly,
okay.
right. And then you have to pick your pieces. Different pieces might be a sofa piece, they might be a sleeper sofa, they might be a chaise, but corners...
Oh, so you can kind of mix up your different pieces how you want.
Right, you're building a puzzle here and putting it into a square room, so we have to decide. Corners are very important. Why? Because every sectional has a corner, right? So we have to decide what your corner is going to be. The typical corners in the upper left, that's a very square corner and a very 90-degree angle. A lot of people don't like that because you can't actually get someone to sit in the middle there. It's kind of hard. You lose your feet. You don't have a place for your legs. If you look at the upper right-hand corner where it's got a corner clip, that one's designed so that somebody sits in the corner, they have a place for their legs right there. See
so it's clipped off. Okay,
exactly.
There's a little you mentioned clip, so it's clipped off at the edge. Okay, got it. But then the bottom one, which one is that?
The bottom is the curve, and that one's just big and flowing. It takes up more space overall, but it does give you a different feel, not quite that square corner. Now we have a flowing corner.
Now, when you order, you get a sectional, you're always going to be having it together, or can you work with them in separate pieces later down the road? Because that affects the arms.
There's one section I'm going to show you today later that does have you be able to move it around where it's just components. But generally, if you have an arm, you're going to have it in one place.
Only on one side of it.
Exactly. Right. And then there's some unique pieces that you need to be aware of that can change the whole entire look. These are corner degree angles. So this could actually bring the sectional around into a corner, which on the end, so you could bring it into a conversation piece.
Like an end piece.
Exactly.
Okay.
So let's look at some examples. This is on the Bassett website. The first one is 2 chaises, 2 chaises on each side. This is a very interesting image here because you have 2 places to relax, but yet it's still conversational. They've put 2 chairs on the other side.
I love having that comfy.
And yeah, we could talk about these images all day long.
You know, you think of sectional, it's all clunky, but they're a little more streamlined now.
Yeah. The second one that I like, I brought because it's a walk behind sectional, and this one shows you where they've floated the sectional. They've put this console behind it, this armoire behind it, and it kind of floats in the room to make a conversation piece inside the room.
Got it.
And the last image that I brought, this is the one where it's completely components. It's only made of corners, armless chairs, and ottomans. And you could slide this around to make all different configurations.
It's like a big bed.
This is a gigantic passion
It's like a game of Tetra.
Passion pit, that's right.
So this would be, you know, I don't want to speculate why this person put this in their home, but it's
cool. That's why.
It's because it's really cool, very comfy.
That's
the kids
great for kids. That's fabulous for kids.
Great for watching TV.
Yeah.
But remember, this is all puzzle piece components. This one could be moved around to several different configurations. So this is a great one if you want to know that you might want to change the room around, slide it around, or do different configurations.
So what if you do want to have something that kind of goes together, but I don't want this look, but I want flexibility down the road to maybe I want to have 2 or 3 pieces where you can't, they don't have like flip up arms or anything like that.
Not so much. No, they don't come apart and move the arms. And that's why when you're doing a sectional, you have to plan. So when you come into the HGTV Home Design Studio by Bassett, our studio, we have 2 showrooms that are very small showrooms. This is a 12 by 14 room. We have put sectionals in both of these showrooms because we want you to see what it's like in a real space versus in a gigantic store where it's floating and you don't know if it's going to fit. So we've created 2 showrooms that have sectionals. This is the CU2. It has a cantered arm, and you see this one has a 90-degree corner. This one has a curved corner. It has more traditional look. This is our other showroom.
Another question we have for you for these sectionals, we had the lounge chairs on the ends of the sectional that we saw there. Do any of these have recliners built into them at all?
Yes.
Can you do anything like that?
We can get them. They're very limited in the styles we can get and how it works. We can get sleeper sofas and we can get lots of different pieces, but the recliners within the section is a little harder. We have less choices.
But you can find them though.
We can find them.
You can find them.
We do have them. Yeah.
All right, so remember, we need to make a plan.
You need to make a plan. You need to choose your arm pieces and your corners because that's going to determine the size overall, and then be creative with your configurations, and then of course with your fabrics and your pillows to make it all come together.
Have fun with it, and it's just it's a comfy type of setting.
Yeah, once you get the basics down, then we can be creative.
A lot more options than I knew were available. So thank you for sharing that. You can visit him online at hgtvdsm.com. You can also visit him out at his studio at
10300.
10300. That's right. Great studio out there. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Good information as always. Getting us all more comfortable.
More comfortable.
I like it.
I like the idea of putting the sectionals in a room, an average room, so you can see how much space it does take up.